Stoicism, a philosophy not bounded by gender, has many lessons for women that not only help women but also lead to the improvement of one's life. This ancient philosophy has many lessons and tenets that we'll talk about in today's video, helping women in improving their lives and also leading a better example for those around them. That's why in today's video, we'll go over 10 Stoic lessons that can lead you to becoming a better woman. Before we start this video, I'd like to say thank you for watching, and don't forget to like. If you're watching this and not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for more life-changing Stoic content. Point 1. Lead by example. Lead by example rather than attempting to coerce or criticize others into proper conduct. Inspire moral excellence in both women and men by modeling it yourself through wisdom, strength, and compassion. Focus more on demonstrating upright behavior in your own life rather than obsessively trying to instruct or impose expectations on those around you. As Marcus Aurelius advised, waste no more time arguing over what a good woman should be. Be one. When facing choices, consider first and foremost how your decision reflects on the virtue of your character, rather than calculating consequences for your reputation, popularity, or appearances. Your principles put into action speak louder than empty words or judgments. Of course, stand up for yourself assertively when appropriate, establishing clear boundaries against mistreatment, but retain poise and respect for others rather than lashing out reactively. Your example of rising above with grace often elevates difficult situations more effectively than force. Led by inspiring the angels within human nature, not by demanding compliance. As an upright woman, take quiet pride in your merits, abilities, and positive contributions without succumbing to arrogance or undue judgment of those who fall short. A spirit of humility paired with earned self-confidence naturally invites others to follow your example in all endeavors. Protect and purify your moral purpose. Fortify your character against misfortune and never compromise integrity for advancement. A virtuous spirit can withstand all worldly changes in status and applause. Keep demonstrating excellence of soul steadily through both life's trials and triumphs. Your consistent virtue offers inspiration. Point 2. Fulfill your roles properly. Fulfill your roles properly rather than anxiously chasing status, promotions, and accolades. Focus humbly on being the best daughter, partner, mother, friend, colleague, neighbor, or community member that you can be in your current season of life. Fulfill each small duty with care, presence, and wisdom. Reflect often on the web of responsibilities woven into your relationships and station at this stage on your journey. How can you engage in each personal role mindfully, providing loving guidance as a mother, honoring your own parents as a daughter, or supporting a partner through life's joys and trials? Bring your full humanity to every interaction. Avoid unnecessary anxiety around conforming to societal standards or timelines of womanhood. Focus simply on mindful engagement with each responsibility in turn. Let go of perfectionism or rigid expectations. Just bring your authentic self and full care to doing what this moment requires of you with devotion. Lead others by the example of integrity you demonstrate. Of course, passionately pursue education, causes, and careers that allow you to develop your capabilities fully and make positive contributions to society. But anchor worldly ambitions and achievements to the cornerstone of conscientiously fulfilling each foundational human role and duty you've been given. Character and wisdom shine through right action, however humble or grand. Rather than looking outward to the broad horizon, focus more on the ground directly beneath your feet. Appreciate the mundane details and simple duties shaping your days. Find quiet meaning and humble excellence in service to those around you right now, wherever life has rooted you currently. Life's greatest purpose often grows from the smallest, most ordinary seeds. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, what we do now echoes in eternity. The true glory and honor of womanhood is found not in laurels, spotlights, or vainglory, but in the quiet glory of each intimate role played out dutifully through the seasons with kindness, wisdom, humor, and grace. Let your light shine on. Point 3. Serve others rather than focusing solely on your own goals and desires. Align your greater life purpose with the greater good. Find meaning in uplifting others through your unique gifts and compassion. Take time to deeply reflect on how your natural strengths, experiences, and wisdom equip you to positively impact your family members' lives. Provide wise counsel when sought, shoulder burdens during times of struggle, nurture development and growth, and give the gift of your full presence and attention, developing bonds of meaning. Expand your gaze further to notice needs in your local community and society that speak to your particular interests and abilities. Get involved with organizations and activism pursuing justice, equality, conservation, and other worthy causes. Apply your insight, passion, time, and spirit creatively to address societal issues. Of course, responsibly care for your own health, growth, and self-care first. You can't generously fill others' cups when yours is empty. But avoid the subtle trap of hyper-self-absorption, turning too far inward. Seek balance through also cultivating purpose and joy beyond yourself. When challenges inevitably arise, reflexively shift focus from "why me" to sincere inquiry of "how can I help?" Become a source of strength, healing, wisdom, and refuge for those around you who are weathering trials, whether relatives or strangers. Suffering can unite our shared humanity. Point 4. Persevere through adversity. Persevere through adversity. Life's inevitable trials and tribulations, obstacles, illnesses, loss, unjust treatment, all contain the power to test character and shape hidden inner strength when engaged consciously. Face hardship with courage, resourcefulness, and perspective. Suffer well. When faced with daunting challenges, avoid the knee-jerk reactions of quick discouragement or passive resignation. Instead, firmly resolve within to endure this temporary storm with wisdom, patience, good cheer, and grace. However difficult current conditions appear, let the rains purify you. Seek the growth in the grit. Treat obstacles and misfortunes as profound opportunities to demonstrate principles of boldness, justice, resilience, and poise. Leadership under duress, a quality society often discourages in women unfairly. Realizing each hardship overcome expands your capacities exponentially. With consistent practice facing trials squarely, you learn to prevail mightily through even the greatest gales by unleashing inner power and wisdom hidden within. When suffering comes, as it inevitably does for all, meet it with conscious presence. Do not numb or avoid legitimate pain and grief through distraction, denial, or suppression. Instead, listen to your sorrow and anger patiently, allowing them space to surface fully, expand wholly, then release naturally like waves arising and receding in the ocean until calm returns. Heartache often follows its own rhythms and holds strange reasons, granted presence in bleakest nights. Stay motivated to keep progressing by focusing solely on taking the very next right action in front of you. When tribulation seems unrelenting, split seemingly mammoth problems patiently into small, manageable steps. Keep placing one foot steadily in front of the other. Keep lifting and taking the next wise step. Though progress proceeds slowly, inch by inch, those inches still travel miles over time through sheer perseverance. Patiently plant your feet, they will take you far. As the saying goes, courage is grace under pressure. When you learn to face trials and ordeals squarely with spirited resourcefulness and unshakable mettle, you emerge from the storm undeniably wiser, stronger, and more serene. The pressures of life reveal diamonds within. On the other side of darkness, your light shines even brighter. Having conquered the impossibly long night through sheer perseverance, you glimpse the dawn. Keep persevering onward through all adversity. This too shall pass. 5. Appreciate simple pleasures. Appreciate simple pleasures. Avoid basing your happiness and worth predominantly on materialism, appearance, stimulation seeking, and chasing endless ambition. True contentment and meaning derive from partaking in life's most basic but profound gifts. Pause often amidst the bustle of daily responsibilities and take time to reflect on the many simple joys readily available to all of us in some form, if we but notice them: a warm hug from a loved one, an unrestrained belly laugh with close friends, the soothing sunset chorus of birdsong at dusk, the sweet petrichor smell of evening rain. No riches required, yet how easily we take for granted these wonders that nourish the soul. Distracted by grander pursuits, learn to savor time spent meaningfully connecting with family and friends, relishing their presence rather than consuming external experiences and goods together. Consciously simplify and declutter your life to intentionally refocus each day on those relationships and practices that truly feed your spirit, rather than blindly starve it through chasing status and luxury. Make space for stillness within the storm. Cultivate a daily practice of gratitude for your body's miraculous yet overlooked functions of mobility, senses, and recovery from illness. Give thanks for your eyes that allow you to witness nature's grandeur, your ears that can be filled with music's transcendence, your hands that let you create. Simpler, slower lives focused on community and character often enrich us exponentially more than hurried achievement of ever more wealth and credentials. Appreciate what already sustains you now. Of course, also take wisdom-guided actions to reasonably provide for and care for yourself and family. But modern culture insidiously breeds discontentment by idealizing an airbrushed vision of life that is ultimately unattainable. Remember that comparison is the thief of joy. Consciously turn away at times from the siren songs of greed and sensations toward more modest states of awareness, gratitude, and contentment. Happiness dwells not in endless acquisition of materials and stimulation, but in mindfully savoring meaning in the simplest of daily blessings. As the great Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, set yourself to gain tranquility by cultivating integrity and wisdom before desiring wealth. Regard wealth and status as merely something entrusted to you rather than as a goal. Devote yourself to cultivating a tranquil mind. True happiness and fulfillment are found not in the perception of material or worldly gains, but in living and relating with integrity, meaning, and service. Point 6. Reflect on yourself. Reflect on yourself. Avoid complacency and stagnation by regularly reviewing your traits, behaviors, and motivations introspectively to illuminate where you need strengthening and demonstrations of greater wisdom. Know thyself completely. Set aside time daily to reflect on your recent thoughts, words, and actions without excessive judgment. Honestly notice any patterns arising. Are old weaknesses like gossiping, jealousy, or indulging anger reappearing? Have new virtues like patience, discretion, charity, or courage organically emerged? Track your progress and backslides with nuance. Also take time to reflect carefully before bed each night on specifically why and how you spent your day. Did you act consistently in alignment with your highest values, principles, and sense of purpose from morning to evening? Or did you allow yourself to become distracted frequently by more egotistical impulses and worldly concerns? Review your various interactions and choices while they are still fresh, noting lessons learned. Make this simple practice of consistent self-review a habit while avoiding excessive self-criticism or self-judgment. The ultimate goal remains improving your best self daily, which occurs through compassionate, radical self-awareness and patience with inherent imperfection, not through harsh condemnation of missteps. Progress gently but persistently. Of course, also periodically acknowledge areas of authentic growth and your merits. Celebrate victories while remaining a humble, lifelong learner. However solid your virtues may appear in certain domains, remember there are always higher levels of expansive wisdom, skill, and noble character to cultivate. Keep humbly refining yourself, without rest on laurels. As the great Greek philosopher Socrates famously said, an unexamined life is not worth living. Regularly applying ruthless yet compassionate wisdom inward builds essential self-knowledge and perspective. This allows progressively discerning and demonstrating your most noble speech and actions outwardly each day. Know thyself, shadows and light, completely. Point 7. Live presently, live presently. Instead, consciously keep bringing your mind's focus back again and again to the current experiences unfolding before you. When you notice your thinking drifting into unproductive regrets about the past, replaying nostalgia, shame, guilt, or other narratives, gently yet firmly redirect your attention to this very moment. Remember, the past cannot be changed. Honor it best by applying any helpful lessons while relinquishing attachment, then moving forward. Similarly, when your mind habitually wanders endlessly worrying about potential future outcomes, if you'll find love, earn enough, succeed in your career, gently redirect focus back to the opportunities and duties presented in the present. The future remains ultimately beyond your control. Engage thoughtfully only in what this exact moment requires without energy-draining fixation on hypothetical scenarios. Make mindfulness meditation a consistent daily practice to strengthen your mental muscle of calmly returning attention over and over to the present. Sit quietly, breathe consciously, release distracting thoughts as they arise. Come back to the sensations of inhaling and exhaling. Staying grounded in the ever-changing present prevents losing yourself in excessive rumination about the static past or imaginary futures. Each moment becomes vivid, fresh, and precious when you inhabit it fully. 8. Avoid gossip and pettiness. Avoid gossip and pettiness. Do not allow yourself to get continually caught up or invested emotionally in unnecessary interpersonal dramas, either as a victim or as a participant. Instead, take the wiser high road of restraint, understanding, and maturity when facing inevitable social conflicts. Carefully notice when you find yourself habitually harboring resentments, endlessly rehashing perceived slights from others, or secretly desiring to somehow get even with those who have knowingly or unknowingly wronged you. When you catch yourself spiraling into such unproductive mindsets, consciously release grudges swiftly rather than brewing endlessly on unpleasant memories or past experiences. Each day offers the gift of starting anew, moving forward. Likewise, refuse the temptation to actively participate in careless gossiping, excessive complaining about others' flaws, or tearing people down behind their backs. Be slow to negatively judge the complexities of others' missteps and shortcomings, which you yourself also likely share to some degree, being just as human. Only offer criticism when absolutely required, always with nuance, context, and sincere compassion for our shared struggles. Of course, firmly stand up for yourself when clearly warranted and ethically necessary. Appropriately establish healthy boundaries against mistreatment by others when essential. But avoid getting unnecessarily dragged down into prolonged, draining interpersonal conflict and drama. Maturely handle inevitable disputes and differences with rationality, poise, and minimal ego rather than reactive emotion. Then make it a practice to let them go rather than clinging to past hurts and slights. You demonstrate true wisdom, leadership, and inner strength as a woman by refusing to indulge or spread pettiness, excessive complaining, or trivial gossip. Remain unprovoked by the shortcomings, mistakes, and immaturities sadly prevalent in much of humanity. Let others by your own dignified example. 9. Judge your worth by your character, not societal status. Judge your worth by your character, not societal status. Authentic nobility and enduring positive influence come not from acquiring outward titles, wealth, or the fickle esteem of others, but from humbly cultivating and consistently demonstrating timeless virtues in your daily conduct. Carefully examine your own psyche to notice if you unconsciously gauge your inherent value as a person predominantly according to ego-validating markers of worldly status, prestigious job titles, degrees from elite institutions, salaries, public praise, and glory. Yet deep down you know all such externals are fleeting things, ultimately outside your control. They do not define or increase your intrinsic human worth one iota. Instead, place priority each day on diligently cultivating timeless inward virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, moderation, honesty, and compassion. This continual process of internal evolution centered on progressively refining the excellence of your own soul brings a far deeper, lasting sense of self-respect, fulfillment, and contentment than any amount of outward validation through credentials, fame, and acclaim ever could. Of course, passionately pursue outwardly ambitious purposes and boldly apply your talents and attempts to make a positive difference in the world. But strive to do so purely for the principles involved, rather than reflexively requiring endless external validation through your titular achievements. Serve humbly from your essence rather than for applause and fleeting approval. Align your actions based on conscience rather than conforming to the crowd's consensus. Remember that those rare visionaries who fundamentally transformed society often sacrificed much worldly glory and status during their own lifetimes in order to take courageous, controversial stands for timeless yet unpopular truths far ahead of public opinion. Their integrity of character and seminal ideas endured long after their shifting societal fortunes faded. Sow seeds today whose fruits may only be harvested generations ahead by those who come after you. Lay foundations for a wiser future rather than short-term glory. As the great philosopher Plutarch wisely declared, the mind is not a vessel to be filled, but rather a fire to be kindled. Seek to vigilantly kindle that inner fire of wisdom, justice, courage, compassion through fully living by your highest insights with integrity each day. No external status, title, or validation can ever confer genuine worth upon you. It forever springs directly from your inner light. Let it radiantly shine. Point 10. View luxuries for what they are, things that can be taken away. View luxuries for what they are, things that can be taken away. Avoid becoming overly dependent on or desperately clinging to non-essential pleasures, materials, and status symbols. Instead, learn to judiciously enjoy external boons when available without attachment, knowing they are simply extras potentially given or taken on fortune's fickle wheel. Take mindful stock of the luxuries, status, and comforts you currently enjoy: haute cuisine, large aesthetically pleasing homes, expensive discretionary purchases, lavish vacations abroad, etc. Savor and appreciate these blessings fully when available, but remain continually aware they may not always be permanent fixtures in your life. Do not take luxuries for granted or presume them as fixed entitlements. Cultivate the perspective to see wealth and leisure mainly as tools to further your growth and ability to contribute goodness, by funding education to increase your capabilities, leveraging resources to help the disadvantaged, creating cultural beauty, and sincerely connecting across differences. But do not view external comforts and status as ends unto themselves, to be simply frittered away on vanity, ego gratification, and endless self-indulgence. Use resources judiciously for worthy purposes beyond yourself. Of course, seek to reasonably provide necessities for yourself and family to maintain health, dignity, and ethical livelihood. But modern consumer culture insidiously breeds discontentment by idealizing an airbrushed vision of life that is ultimately unattainable. Remember that luxury items, social image, and the esteem of others signify your ultimate worth and value as a person. In truth, your integrity of character and depth of wisdom matter infinitely more than surface circumstances. Remain humble and practice simplicity by living frugally below your actual means. Luxuries easily become subtle shackles when they foster dependence and inflated appetites. Maintain the inner freedom to weather changing fortune and honor virtue above all through living simply, even if blessed with surplus. As the great Stoic philosopher Seneca prudently wrote, cherish moral values, gentleness, and a tranquil mind above all else. Regard wealth and luxuries as merely resources entrusted temporarily to your care rather than as goals to chase ceaselessly for their own sake. Remember always that lavish material comforts and sensations should serve your highest ethical principles and not enslave you. Keep perspective amidst privilege. Humbly appreciate comforts when available in the moment, but release anxious grasping attachment to them. Life's deepest fulfillment, meaning, and contentment always springs from developing wisdom, character, and service within, not from indulging a multitude of externals. If you are listening to this, thank you for staying till the end. If you feel any of these Stoic lessons resonated with you today, feel free to start a Stoic discussion in the comments. I welcome Stoic discussions, as they are what the great Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca advised. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, and if you want more content like this, subscribe and hit the bell. Thank you for watching, and as always, I hope you find peace and serenity in the Stoic ways.